subscribed to the newsletter yet, now is a really good time to do so, so you know what is going on, when, in what.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Hey, what's up? It's Martin with Analog Vibes. Welcome to the next Build Your Legend series. It's series number 3. And if you are totally new here and you have no clue what I'm talking about and you probably don't even know what Analog Vibes is at all, please go to analogvibes.com and check out the website. There is plenty of information on there, like video tutorials, e-papers and whatnot. In short, Analog Vibes was created back in 2017 from the idea to enable you to build your own legendary studio gear. Some of the most iconic pieces you can think of, and to build them in the most authentic way possible. So you don't end up with some sort of clone, but with literally the real deal. And on analogvibes.com, we created a knowledge base, and there's also a shop where you can purchase authentic enclosures of all of these projects, along with detailed step-by-step guide and tutorials and everything. But every once in a while, we come up with what we call a Build Your Legend series. So as mentioned earlier, this is part 3. In the last Build Your Legend series, we featured the Tube Program Equalizer, which was a very sophisticated approach on recreating the legendary vintage Pultec EQP1A as a full kit, and with very much love for detail. When we launched this last series, we asked the community what were the major concerns in regards to creating your own legendary gear. And we received tons of feedback. And we made a video specifically to address all these questions and concerns. And I think it's really important information and still relevant, so let's rewind. And I think by now it might be clear that we are going for the complete kit, meaning it will include every single component you need to build it. And in terms of documentation, it will include a well-visualized wiring layout and a very detailed building guide. Which brings me back to the point of this video. And the point of this video is that even though most of the gear we are talking about here is from the same era as the Apollo space mission.
Dude, if this flag was only as easy to set up as the Analog Vibe kits, we would have been done forever.
Building the gear is actually no rocket science. So in the last video, I already told you what I realized to be the 4 major concerns or obstacles that you see. First, safety. Second, skills and tools that are necessary. Third, parts. Fourth, troubleshooting. All right, now let's tackle them one by one. The first major concern was safety. Obviously, we work with high voltages, and we certainly don't want to end up like this guy. Okay, let's be serious for a second. I don't want to make a joke of it, and I completely understand your concerns or the reservations you might have in regards to working with tube gear. Because even though it's a lot of fun to build your own gear and it can be addictive too, it's absolutely not worth getting injured or even killed for. But also, there is absolutely no need to panic. Let me explain. There are some basic rules and precautions that, if followed, will make building your gear a safe ride. Some of these rules are obvious and some are less obvious, meaning when building the gear, usually no voltage is present because it's really uncommon to build the gear while it's plugged into the mains, right? But when voltage becomes relevant is when you have to measure a live unit, or if you have to troubleshoot a live unit, or for some projects it's necessary to calibrate them. So in this situation, if you're working on a live unit where you know voltage is present, I included all the precautions and the basic rules you should follow in the e-papers, step by step, what you have to take care of, where you have to be attentive, etc. There might be a situation when it becomes less obvious. If you switch off the unit and unplug it from the mains, that doesn't mean all voltage is gone, because there is a certain component, I'm talking about a capacitor, and the capacitor acts like a battery, meaning it can keep the voltage for a pretty long time and much longer than you might expect. So you just have to be aware of it. But even in this case, I explained everything in the e-paper, like how to deal with it and how to drain capacitors if necessary, etc. Apart from that, one major advice I could give you is focus. Don't watch the NBA Finals while building your gear, or you're asking for trouble. If you build your gear and you finish your piece of gear and it's not working as it should, don't panic. It will work eventually. So returning back to the topic, All the situations I can remember where I messed up or even got an electric shock was when I lost patience, you know? So stay calm, stay focused, and yeah, you will get your gear running. The next major concern was skills and tools. And in regards to tools, I tried to list and explain everything that might be relevant for you in the e-paper as well. What you might need, what might be nice to have, etc. In regards to skills, well, what should I say? I mean, that's exactly what Analog Vibes and the BYL-Legend series is all about, right? Providing knowledge about the gear, wiring layouts, build guides, etc. You know, in the latest e-paper, I also included a link to a very good soldering tutorial, and I explained a little bit about, you know, how to approach soldering in general. You can download it right below, check it out. But still, I totally get your point. You know, I've been there too. And I remember the major obstacle back then was confidence. You know, like questioning myself whether or not I was capable of pulling it off. And I remember before I built my first hand-wired point-to-point LA2A, I thought it would be a huge undertaking, like very complex, very complicated. And it actually wasn't, you know, it was mostly in my head. And the hardest thing to do was actually to start doing it, you know, to do the first step. And that's what I'm trying to do with Analog Vibes, is to lower the threshold, you know, to make it accessible, to make you see that it's not as hard as you might expect. And it might sound a little cheesy, but that's actually the core element of Analog Vibes. You know, of course we build legendary gear, but the core element is actually to push your boundaries, you know, to do the things you never thought you could, you know, self-empowerment. And seriously, the main benefit through all the stuff I did and do here with Analog Vibes, for me personally, was the major learning experience, you know, to have a true understanding of how the gear works that I'm using every day. And if something breaks, I can fix it, you know. That's priceless. So yeah, I cannot do the step for you. I can just try to lower the threshold, to make it accessible for you and to encourage you to try it, right? So number 3 was parts. Okay, let's skip parts for a second, because I would like to say a few words about number 4 first. Troubleshooting. What if you spend hours building a piece of gear and then in the end it sounds like... It seems like the need to troubleshoot a unit for many of you is like the ultimate nightmare. Like, please, no troubleshooting. I'll do whatever you want, but no troubleshooting. Let me tell you something. In all these years since I started to build my own gear, I never learned as much about how a particular unit works as when it didn't work. You know what I mean? Of course, for the most part, it will work from the spot, I'm sure of it. And the feeling of, you know, just finishing units and switching it on for the very first time and it works from the spot, it's hard to beat, you know? Especially if you've been dreaming of this particular unit for a very long time. And there is a deep impact that this will have on your personality. You have to be you know, you have to be aware of it and you have to be prepared. I've seen people going all crazy, running around the block all naked, screaming like a weirdo because they were not prepared for the impact this moment would have on their very being.
Look what I have created! I have made fire!
Trust me, you have to be prepared. To be completely honest with you, of course, I didn't like it too much when troubleshooting was necessary, but you are in a different situation because here's the thing. You are not alone. You know, the Analog Vibes community is growing, and I strongly believe, or in fact I know, that an active community is a huge win for everybody. Like you can exchange your experience and share your problems.
Stephen, by the way.
Hi, Stephen.
If you have a problem, you know, we'll figure it out together. And until today, we always got the gear going. You'll find the link to the community below the video. Right, so yeah, one step back now, again, parts. you know, where to get them, which parts to get it all, are they still available, etc. I created an e-paper for you. I don't know if I've mentioned it already. And in the e-paper, there's an entire chapter on parts and how to approach the subject. So you see, I really try to get you covered in every aspect, but if you have any more questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you're watching this video outside of analogvibes.com, please check the link below or above the video to reach our Build Your Legend series page. So as mentioned earlier, the third Build Your Legend series will feature the tube opto compressor as a full kit. And instead of just coming up with a regular version of it, we decided to create a special limited edition silver face version as an homage to the vintage silver face LA2A that was available for a couple of years back in the days. And the silver face version will only be available in this Build Your Legend series. So if you ever thought about adding a silver face tube opto compressor to your repertoire, now it's probably a good time. Alright, now this video is only a teaser, so you know what's coming up on the horizon. The limited edition silver face tube opto compressor as a full kit. Everything else will be explained in the next video, which will be released in a couple of days or a week from now. So keep your eyes open. And yeah, in the meantime, you know, download the No More Concerns e-paper below. There's everything from the basics, tools, and everything what I explained. And yeah, leave me a comment in the comment section, get engaged in the discussion. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the Analog Vibes newsletter yet, now is a perfect time to do so, because then you know exactly when it's going to happen and what's going to happen. All right, so see you in the next video. Peace.